In September 2019 I made a video called The History and Development of Windows 8 where I compared Windows 7, Windows 8 Milestone 3, Windows 8 Developer Preview, Windows 8 Release Preview on Windows 8. However, in that video I skipped some pre-release, developer preview builds and consumer preview. In this extended video I will also be covering those builds as well as Windows 8.1 and Windows 8.1 Update 1. For the comparisons that are the same in both videos I will reuse the footage. Let's compare Windows 7 build 7601 with Windows 8 Milestone 3 build 7955. On the left we have Windows 7 build 7601, which was released on the 22nd of July 2009, and on the right we have Windows 8 Milestone 3 build 7955, which was compiled on the 28th of February 2011 and leaked on the 25th of April 2011. In Windows 7 we have a flowery Windows logo on a blue flowery background. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 we have a puzzle on a green background and it says such, let's not leak our hard work. There is also a Microsoft Confidential. In Windows 7 the window titles are left aligned, and in Windows 8 Milestone 3 they are centered. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 there is a profile picture in the bottom right corner, and when you click it you can switch user, log off or lock PC. You can also change account settings or change your profile picture. In Windows 7 the profile picture is on the start menu, and when you click it you get account settings. To log off you would click the arrow next to the shutdown. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the File Explorer now has an up button. In Windows 7 it does not. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the File Explorer has a status bar along the bottom with view shortcuts in the bottom right, and the Details pane has been moved to the right instead of at the bottom. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the folder icons have been updated. Let's compare the Task Manager. On Windows 7 under Applications it just shows the current applications. On Windows 8 Milestone 3 it shows all processes and it has a heat map. On Windows 8 Milestone 3 the Startup tab is now under Task Manager. In Windows 7 it is under MS-Config. In Windows 7 under Users it just shows the users. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 it shows what that user has opened and it has a heat map. In Windows 7 all of the tabs are under the same Task Manager. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 some are under the Advanced Task Manager. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 it has CPU, RAM, disk and network under the Dashboard tab and tells you lots of information about each. In Windows 7 it has CPU and RAM under the Performance tab and network under a separate tab and doesn't tell you much about each. The Start button looks the same in both. However, in Windows 7 it gives you a Start menu, and in Windows 8 Milestone 3 it takes you to a Start screen. In Windows 7 to get to all programs you click All Programs. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 you drag down from the top and then click Other Programs. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 there is a full screen settings app, which is how you shut down, and it has a few other settings as well as a link to the desktop control panel where most of the settings are. In Windows 7 the shutdown and control panel are on the Start menu. Let's compare the Control-Alt-Delete screen. Both have the same options. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the font is bigger. It also has a back arrow instead of a cancel button, and the background is also different. In Windows 7 the power button is red and 3D. You can click the power symbol to shut down and the arrow for more options. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 there is just a power symbol, not inside a button, and when you click it a menu comes up with a description of each option. The Ease of Access button looks the same in both and they both bring up the same window. Something interesting to note is that on Windows 7, windows on the Control-Alt-Delete screen or sign in page have the Windows 7 basic theme, and on Windows 8 Milestone 3 they have arrow. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the Windows Classic theme has been removed. There is also an option to make the windows automatically be the dominant color of the background. Let's compare the basic skin. In Windows 7 the title bar is 3D and the corners are rounded. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the title bar is flat and the corners are square. In Windows 7 the X Maximus and Minimus are on 3D buttons. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 they are flat. In Windows 7 the menu bar is 3D. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 it is flat. In Windows 7 the menus are gray and have a 3D highlight when you put the mouse over them. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the menus are white and have a 2D highlight with a 1 pixel line round the edge when you put the mouse over them. Neither operating systems allow you to change the color of the basic skin. In Windows 7 the X button on the active window is red. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 it is only red when you put the mouse over it. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 there is a predecessor to the Charms bar when you drag down from the top right corner. Let's compare Windows 8 Milestone 3 build 7955 with Windows 8 Developer Preview build 8032. On the left we have Windows 8 Milestone 3 build 7955, which was compiled on the 28th of February 2011 and leaked on the 25th of April 2011, and on the right we have Windows 8 Developer Preview build 8032, which was compiled on the 23rd of June 2011. Both operating systems have a puzzle and say SHH, let's not leak our hard work and have a Microsoft Confidential. On Windows 8 Milestone 3 the puzzle is on a green background, and on Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 it is on a blue background. On Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 some more of the puzzle has been filled in. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the windows are rounded, and in Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 they are square. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the X maximus and minimus are on 3D buttons, and in Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 the X is on a flat red rectangle and the maximus and minimus are not on buttons but a blue box comes up when you put the mouse over them. Let's compare the File Explorer. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the bar at the bottom is gray and has 5 buttons. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 the bar at the bottom is white and has 2 buttons. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 we have a menu bar at the top. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 we have the ribbon interface. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 the folder icons are now back how they were in Windows 7. Let's compare the Task Manager. Both Task Managers have a Startup tab and a Users tab. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 Processes has been renamed to Applications. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 there is also now a menu bar at the top. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 there is a separate Advanced Task Manager. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 this has been integrated into the main Task Manager. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the graphs are all the same color. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 they are different colors. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 there is an App History tab. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 there is a user profile in the bottom right of the taskbar, which when you click it gives you some options. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 the user profile has been moved to the top right of the start screen, and when you click it gives you the same options, but my settings and my look have been merged into personalized. In Windows 8 Milestone 3, when you change the user profile settings it brings up the control panel. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 it brings up the New Settings app. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the start screen has a leafy blue background. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 it has a dark purple background. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the tiles for desktop applications are the color of the icon, and the icon is big and above the text. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 the tiles for desktop applications are all purple and the icon is small and below the text. In Windows 8 Milestone 3, when you right-click a tile the options are in a list above it. On Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032, when you right-click a tile the options are on a bar at the bottom. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 it says the word Start at the top, and in Windows 8 Milestone 3 it does not. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 you can show all apps by dragging down from the top. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 there is no way to show all apps except from to go to search. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 the Metro control panel has some more options. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the charms are on a bar at the right with a white background. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 they are in a menu in the bottom left with a black background. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the shutdown options are under the Settings app. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 they are under the Settings charm. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 to switch Metro apps you go to the Switch charm. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 you click the left edge. In Windows 8 Milestone 3, when you press Windows key tab it gives you a 3D window fly-through just like in Windows 7. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 it switches between Metro apps. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 there is now a remote desktop Metro app. Let's compare the Control-Alt-Delete screen. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 it has a blue leafy background and in Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 it has a purple background. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 it says Windows Developer Preview in the bottom center. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 each of the power options has a description under it. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 the description comes up when you put the mouse over them. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 the ease of access is no longer on a button. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the ease of access comes up in a window. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 it comes up in a menu. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 when you log off it takes you to a sign-in page. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 it takes you to a locked screen which you have to drag up. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 the loading circle next to the welcome is the same as in Windows 7. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 it has some circling dots that speed up and slow down. Let's compare the text-to-speech voices.
In Windows 8 Milestone 3 we have Microsoft Anna.
In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 we have Microsoft David,
Microsoft Hazel,
and Microsoft Zira.
In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 the desktop control panel has a window title and icon at the top. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 it does not. Let's compare the basic skin. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 the X of the active window is on a red box. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 it is not. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 you can change the color of the basic skin. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 you cannot. Let's compare the boot screen. In Windows 8 Milestone 3 we have the same boot screen as Windows 7. In Windows 8 Developer Preview 8032 we have a 3D fish with circling dots and the word welcome underneath. Let's compare Windows 8 Developer Preview Build 8032 with Windows 8 Developer Preview Build 8056. On the left we have Windows 8 Developer Preview Build 8032, which was compiled on the 23rd of June 2011, and on the right we have Windows 8 Developer Preview Build 8056, which was compiled on the 27th of July 2011. Both operating systems have a puzzle and say SHH, let's not leak our hard work and have a Microsoft Confidential. On 8032 the puzzle is on a blue background and on 8056 it is on a purple background with some wavy lines. On 8056 some more of the puzzle has been filled in. In 8056 the maximas and minimas are on buttons. In 8032 they are not. In 8056 the window title has a white shadow. In 8032 it does not. Let's compare the File Explorer. In 8032 the File button has an icon. In 8056 it has the word File. In 8056 the Sync option has been removed and the Clear History icon has been updated. In 8032 we have Internet Explorer 9 and in 8056 we have Internet Explorer 10 Developer Preview. In 8056 there is also a Metro version of Internet Explorer. In 8056, when you open the Metro control panel it comes up with an error. In 8056 there is now a store, but it just comes up with a blank screen. In 8032 the search pane has a close button. In 8056 to close the search pane you just click out of it. In 8056 Windows Media Center and Windows DVD Maker have been removed. In 8032 you can play a DVD using Windows Media Player. In 8056 you cannot. Let's compare the Control-Alt-Delete screens. In 8032 the text is white. In 8056 the text is purple. Lock this computer has been changed to lock this PC. Change a password no longer has dots after it and Start Task Manager has been changed to Open Task Manager. Let's compare Windows 8 Developer Preview Build 8056 with Windows 8 Developer Preview Build 8102. On the left we have Windows 8 Developer Preview Build 8056, which was compiled on the 27th of July 2011, and on the right we have Windows 8 Developer Preview Build 8102, which was released on the 13th of September 2011. In 8056 we have a puzzle on a purple background. In 8102 we have the Windows 7 login background. Let's compare the Task Manager. In 8102 Applications has been renamed to Processes and Processes has been renamed to Details. In 8056 the profile picture is 3D. In 8102 the profile picture is 2D. In 8056 the start screen has a purple background. In 8102 it has a green background. In 8056 the start button is the same as in Windows 7. In 8102 the start button is a flattened colorful Windows flag on a gray background. In 8102 Connect has been changed to Devices and the share icon has been updated. In 8056 most of the Windows 7 games are still present and there are hardly any Metro apps. In Windows 8 Developer Preview the Windows 7 games are gone and there are now lots of Metro apps. Let's compare the Control-Alt-Delete screen. In 8056 it says Open Task Manager and in 8102 it just says Task Manager. Let's compare the boot screen. In 8056 we have a 3D fish and the word welcome. In 8102 it says Windows Developer Preview with no picture. Both have circle and dots. The circle and dots are smaller in 8102 than they are in 8056. Let's compare Windows 8 Developer Preview Build 8102 with Windows 8 Consumer Preview Build 8250. On the left we have Windows 8 Developer Preview Build 8102, which was released on the 13th of September 2011, and on the right we have Windows 8 Consumer Preview Build 8250, which was released on the 29th of February 2012. On Windows 8 Developer Preview we have the Windows 7 login background, and on Windows 8 Consumer Preview we have a cartoon fish with a number 8 in the background. The bubbles coming out of the fish's mouth are also in the shape of an 8. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview the File Explorer ribbon is now collapsed by default. In Windows 8 Developer Preview there is a Start button that takes you to the Start screen. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview the Start button has been removed. According to Wikipedia, the Start button was removed to reflect their view that on Windows 8 the desktop was an app itself and not the primary interface of the operating system. On Windows 8 Consumer Preview to get to the Start screen you click in the bottom left corner. On Windows 8 Developer Preview, on white tiles the icon is to the left and the text is big and to the right. On Windows 8 Consumer Preview the icon is in the center and the text is small and in the bottom left. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview there is a button to show all tiles. In Windows 8 Developer Preview there is not. In Windows 8 Developer Preview there is no way to show all apps except from to go to search. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview you can right-click the Start screen and then click All Apps. In Windows 8 Developer Preview all the apps are grouped by name. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview the Metro apps come first and then the desktop apps are grouped by category. In Windows 8 Developer Preview the charms are in a menu in the bottom left and the clock comes up to the right. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview the charms is a bar along the right and the clock comes up to the left. In Windows 8 Developer Preview for the desktop there are no settings under the charms. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview there is Control Panel, Personalization, PC Info and Help. There is also a link to the Settings app. The Metro Control Panel app has been renamed to PC Settings and the link to the Desktop Control Panel has been removed. On Windows 8 Developer Preview, when you right-click the Start button you get Properties and open Windows Explorer, which is the same as in Windows 7. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview, when you right-click the hot corner you get heaps of options. In Windows 8 Developer Preview to switch between apps you click the left edge of the screen. On Windows 8 Consumer Preview you click the top left corner and you can move the mouse down to see all running Metro apps. On Windows 8 Consumer Preview you can also drag apps down to close them. On Windows 8 Developer Preview, when you open a Metro app the app flips out from the center. On Windows 8 Consumer Preview the tile flips around to reveal the app. On Windows 8 Developer Preview, when you open a desktop application, the desktop flips out. On Windows 8 Consumer Preview, the Metro interface fades into the desktop. On Windows 8 Developer Preview, the logo is the same as it is in Windows 7. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview, the logo is 4 solid blue boxes at an angle. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview, the word log off has been changed to sign out. Let's compare the basic skin. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview, the Maximus and Minimus are on buttons. In Windows 8 Developer Preview, they are not. In Windows 8 Developer Preview, the menus are white and the menu highlight is blue fill with a 1 pixel order. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview, the menus are gray and the highlight is just the order with no fill. Let's compare the boot screen. In Windows 8 Developer Preview, it says Windows Developer Preview, and on Windows 8 Consumer Preview it has a cartoon fish the same as the one on the wallpaper. Both boot screens have circling dots underneath. Let's compare Windows 8 Consumer Preview Build 8250 with Windows 8 Release Preview Build 8400. On the left we have Windows 8 Consumer Preview Build 8250, which was released on the 29th of February 2012, and on the right we have Windows 8 Release Preview Build 8400, which was released on the 31st of May 2012. On Windows 8 Consumer Preview we have a cartoon fish with a number 8 in the background, and on Windows 8 Release Preview we have some red flowers. Both have transparent windows, however they seem slightly more transparent in Windows 8 Release Preview. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview the menu bar is 3D and shiny like it is in Windows 7. In Windows 8 Release Preview it is flat like it is in Windows 8. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview, in the desktop control panel the arrow from the title bar extends down into the address bar. In Windows 8 Release Preview the address bar is on a separate opaque bar. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview the mouse pointers are the same as they are in Windows 7. In Windows 8 Release Preview the mouse pointers are the same as they are in Windows 8. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview the Settings pane says the name of the current app in big at the top, and then the options are in the accent color. In Windows 8 Release Preview the Settings pane says Settings in big at the top and has the name of the current app in the accent color and small underneath, and then the options are white. Let's compare the locked screen. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview we have a red corral. In Windows 8 Release Preview we have some orange leaves. On Windows 8 Consumer Preview you have to drag up to unlock. On Windows 8 Release Preview you just click to unlock. On Windows 8 Release Preview the color of some of the Metro apps have changed, and there are some new Metro apps, and Pinball FX2 and Solitaire have been removed. Windows Media Center has also been removed. Let's compare the basic skin. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview the menu bar is blue. In Windows 8 Release Preview the menu bar is gray. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview the menu highlight is just the order. In Windows 8 Release Preview the menu highlight has an order and fill. Let's compare the boot screen. In Windows 8 Consumer Preview it has a cartoon fish, and in Windows 8 Release Preview it says the word Windows. Both have circling dots underneath. Let's compare Windows 8 Release Preview Build 8400 with Windows 8 Build 9200. On the left we have Windows 8 Release Preview Build 8400, which was released on the 31st of May 2012, and on the right we have Windows 8 Build 9200, which was released on the 26th of October 2012. On Windows 8 Release Preview we have some red flowers, and on Windows 8 we have some white flowers on a blue background. On Windows 8 Release Preview the window borders are transparent. On Windows 8 they are not. In Windows 8 Release Preview the Maximus and Minimus are on buttons. In Windows 8 they are not. Both taskbars are transparent. On Windows 8 Release Preview it is a blurry transparency, and on Windows 8 it is a flat transparency. On Windows 8 Release Preview the bar at the top of the File Explorer is light blue. In Windows 8 it is white. In Windows 8 Release Preview the Windows 7 desktop gadgets are still present. In Windows 8 they have been removed. On Windows 8 the icons for Photos, Store, SkyDrive and Sports have been changed, and the color for Camera has been changed. On Windows 8 the name Windows Explorer has been changed to File Explorer. In Windows 8 Release Preview, then you pin a desktop app to the start screen. The tile has the name in big at the top and the icon in small at the bottom. In Windows 8 it has the icon big in the center and the text small at the bottom. In Windows 8 Release Preview the pane at the left of personalization is blue. In Windows 8 it is white. Windows 8 Release Preview has both an arrow and a basic skin. Windows 8 only has one skin. The Windows 8 skin looks more like the Windows 8 Release Preview basic skin than the Windows 8 Release Preview arrow skin, but the Maximus and Minimus are not on buttons and the taskbar is transparent. In the Windows 8 Release Preview basic skin the inactive title bar is a lighter version of the color of the active title bar. In Windows 8 the inactive title bar is always gray. In the Windows 8 Release Preview basic skin the inactive X button is the same color as the Maximus and Minimus buttons. In Windows 8 it is a darker shade of gray. The Windows 8 Release Preview basic skin is used in Windows Server 2012. Let's compare the boot screen. In Windows 8 Release Preview it says the word Windows and in Windows 8 it has the Windows 8 logo. Both boot screens have circle and dots underneath. On some computers that came with Windows 8 it may have the OEM logo instead of the Windows 8 logo. Let's compare Windows 8 Build 9200 with Windows 8.1 Build 9600. On the left we have Windows 8 Build 9200, which was released on the 26th of October 2012, and on the right we have Windows 8.1 Build 9600, which was released on the 17th of October 2013. In Windows 8 we have some white flowers on a blue background, and in Windows 8.1 we have an orange triangle pattern. In Windows 8 there is no start button, and to get to the start screen you click the bottom left corner. In Windows 8.1 there is a start button that takes you to the start screen. In Windows 8 to get to all apps you right click, then click all apps. In Windows 8.1 there is a down arrow. In Windows 8.1 you can sort apps by name, date installed, most used or category. In Windows 8 you can only sort apps by name. In Windows 8.1 there is a search box in the top right corner of the All Apps screen. In Windows 8 there is not. In Windows 8 tiles can be 2 different sizes. In Windows 8.1 tiles can be 4 different sizes. In Windows 8.1 the personalization options for the start screen are under the Settings charm. In Windows 8 they are under the Settings app. In Windows 8 you can only select from a range of predefined background and accent color combinations. In Windows 8.1 you can select any background color with any accent color. In Windows 8.1 you can show the desktop background on start. In Windows 8 you cannot. In Windows 8.1 some of the start screen background patterns are different to the ones in Windows 8. In Windows 8 when you click the File Explorer icon it opens to Libraries. In Windows 8.1 it opens to this PC. In Windows 8 when you press Windows key it opens to Computer. In Windows 8.1 it opens to this PC. This PC is a combination of both Libraries and Computer because it has both the folders from Libraries and the drives from Computer. In Windows 8.1 under Taskbar Properties there is a Navigation tab, which is not there in Windows 8. In Windows 8.1 you can disable the charms and apps which are hot corners, replace Command Prompt with PowerShell and make it boot to desktop instead of the start screen, which you cannot do in Windows 8. In Windows 8 we have Internet Explorer 10 and in Windows 8.1 we have Internet Explorer 11. In Windows 8 in the Metro version of Internet Explorer the tabs come up at the top. In Windows 8.1 in the Metro version of Internet Explorer the tabs come up at the bottom. In Windows 8.1 you can name groups of tiles. In Windows 8 you cannot. In Windows 8 to shut down you go Charms, then Settings, then Power, then Shut Down. You can also do this in Windows 8.1. However, in Windows 8.1 you can shut down by right-clicking the Start button, which you cannot do in Windows 8. In Windows 8 the charms are vertically centered. In Windows 8.1 the charms are closer to the end that you bring them in from. In Windows 8 in the Apps view you can only select one app at a time. In Windows 8.1 you can select multiple apps at a time. In Windows 8 the tiles for desktop apps are all the accent color. In Windows 8.1 the tiles for desktop apps are the color of the icon. In Windows 8 the only calculator is the desktop calculator, which is the same as Windows 7's calculator. In Windows 8.1, in addition to the desktop calculator there is also now a Metro calculator. In Windows 8.1 the Bing and messaging apps have been removed. Finance has been renamed for Money and there are some new apps such as Skype, Scan, Reading List app, Help Plus Tips, Health and Fitness, Food and Drink and Alarms. In Windows 8 when you put the mouse to the bottom left corner of a Metro app you get a thumbnail of the start screen. In Windows 8.1 you get the Windows logo. In Windows 8 you can snap apps to the side of the screen, however you cannot split the screen half and half and you can only have 2 apps. In Windows 8.1 you can split the screen half and half. You can also have apps snapped to the side. You can also have 3 apps at once as long as your screen is high enough resolution. Let's compare the Settings app. In Windows 8 the pane at the left is gray and contains the main categories and the subcategories are along the top. In Windows 8.1 the pane at the left is the accent color and also contains the main categories. When you select one, the pane at the left then switches to displaying subcategories and there is a back arrow to get back to main categories. In Windows 8.1 the Settings app has a search button, which the Windows 8 Settings app does not. In Windows 8.1 you can change the screen resolution from the Settings app. In Windows 8 you can only change the screen resolution from the desktop. In Windows 8.1 you can also change the screen resolution from the desktop. In Windows 8 there is nothing to share from the desktop. In Windows 8.1 you can share a screenshot of the desktop. In Windows 8 the only way to get to the Settings app is from the Settings charm. In Windows 8.1 the Settings app is also listed under Apps, which it is not in Windows 8. Let's compare Windows 8.1 Build 9600 with Windows 8.1 Build 9600 Update 1. On the left we have Windows 8.1 Build 9600, which was released on the 17th of October 2013, and on the right we have Windows 8.1 Build 9600 Update 1, which was released on the 8th of April 2014. This is not actually a new build of the operating system but just an update that comes through Windows Update. In Windows 8.1 Update 1 there is now a power button and a search button on the start screen. In Windows 8.1, when you right-click a tile the options are on a bar at the bottom. In Windows 8.1 Update 1 they are in a list. In Windows 8.1 Update 1 Customize has been renamed to Name Groups. In Windows 8.1 Update 1 the Metro apps are grouped by letter. In Windows 8.1 the Metro apps are not grouped. In Windows 8.1 Update 1 there is now an option to show more apps in the apps view, which makes the apps smaller. In Windows 8.1 Update 1 there is a link to the desktop control panel in the Settings app. In Windows 8.1 there is not. In Windows 8.1 to close a Metro app you have to go to the top of the screen, then click and drag down to the bottom. In Windows 8.1 Update 1, when you put the mouse to the top of the screen it comes up with a title bar, which has an X and minus button on it. In Windows 8.1 Update 1 you can also still drag Metro apps down to close them the same as in Windows 8.1. In Windows 8.1 Update 1 the option to when I sign in or close all apps on a screen, go to the desktop instead of start is now enabled by default. In Windows 8.1 it is disabled by default, but it can be enabled or disabled in both. In Windows 8.1 Update 1 you can now pin Metro apps to the taskbar and running Metro apps are shown on the taskbar. In Windows 8.1 Update 1 you can bring up the taskbar from within a Metro app by putting the mouse to the bottom of the screen. In Windows 8.1 you cannot. Goodbye.